Well, for more on China's economic performance and post-pandemic rebound, we're joined from Knoxville, Tennessee by Sara Hsu. She's the CEO of China Rising Capital Forecast and a visiting scholar at Fudan University. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks, Rochelle.
So what's your take on the official manufacturers PMI improving on August data and the pace that you're seeing?
I think it's great. It looks like China's manufacturing sector is certainly rebounding. It also looks like the services sector is improving, which is really important because the pandemic shut down a lot of services that, such as restaurants and so on. And so I think it's a pretty positive sign.
Well, non-manufacturing PMI, which focuses on services and construction, also improved over August data. What do you attribute that to?
I think that people are getting back to work and using more services. There is still some unevenness in terms of the types of services that are being used. And we see that employment in the services sector is not fully up to where people would like it to be. And so, this is something that we're going to have to watch in the future.
So then, in terms of looking to the future, what indicators are you watching for in predicting whether that pace will continue through the end of the year, especially starting off with the Golden Week?
Well, I think in terms of manufacturing activity, China looks like it's doing pretty well. And this is attributed to resilient exports and also stimulus-led infrastructure. Also, because of the Golden Week, it looks like a lot of people are purchasing more products, which is really important. It's a good sign to see consumption going up, and it could still go up a little bit further. Production looks like it's increasing as well, as are imports and exports. So these are really important factors. I think in the future, we're looking at things like ongoing domestic and overseas demand, see what happens with coronavirus. We're still not completely out of the woods on the pandemic, and so this could cause further growth headwinds going forward, either as demand slows either in China, if there's another outbreak there, or abroad. So there's uncertainty, but it looks like a lot of good signs for China's economy right now.
And so how are small enterprises faring compared to larger companies in the recovery?
Right. So some studies have shown that they're not performing as well. The rebound is somewhat uneven, with the larger businesses doing better. They're more able to obtain loans and have more solid supply chains intact. Smaller businesses have not fared as well, and so they continue to struggle. And so we'll have to see how that turns out. Also, there is some geographic differences as well in terms of like the eastern coastal region rebounding with other inland regions not performing as well.
So then what does all this latest data tell us about the overall health of China's economic recovery versus other major economies, including the US?
That's a really good point, Rochelle. So, right now we're looking at China and seeing if it's coming back. Other countries are not necessarily coming back as strong, and China is the only G20 country that is expected to show positive economic output this year, according to the OECD. So compared to the rest of the world, China is in an excellent position. Still some headwinds to watch, but it looks like it is slowly but surely coming back.
And how are we seeing this momentum reflected in everyday life for people in China?
Yeah, so it seems like people are gradually going back to work. There's still, a little bit less consumer spending than before, but because Golden Week is happening starting this week, I think that, people are looking forward to people spending more in terms of tourism, in terms of, going out retail shopping and especially buying gifts. There's already been an uptick in production of food and purchases of food and other types of celebratory items. And so, I think that's going to give a big boost to the economy.
And I do want to look, obviously, this has been an unconventional year for global economies due to the pandemic fallout, and in turn, that's affected economic growth targets. Talk about how we might see this reflected in China's upcoming 5-year plan.
Yeah, so China has noted that it may not provide any more economic growth targets. And so, part of this is just because there's so much uncertainty right now. There's uncertainty due to COVID, also due to the US-China trade war and the impact of the US elections that are coming up. And so I think China's playing it safe in terms of not putting any hard numbers on its expected growth performance. And so, we'll have to see what happens. I think that they're aiming generally for growth to be probably in the same trend as it has been in the past, but they're trying to play it safe and not revealing as much.